You think your eyes show you reality. You think what you see is what's actually there. But what if I told you that your brain is lying to you every single second? What if everything you're looking at right now is a hallucination, a best guess, a fabricated story your mind creates to make sense of incomplete data? In the next 10 minutes, I'll prove that you've never seen the real world, and worse, you never will. Look around you right now. The walls, the furniture, the screen in front of you. Feels real, right? Solid, concrete, undeniable. But here's the twist. You're not actually seeing any of it. Your eyes are just collecting light particles, photons bouncing off surfaces, and sending electrical signals to your brain. Your brain then interprets those signals and creates an image. But here's what they don't tell you. Your brain fills in massive gaps, makes assumptions, and literally invents details that aren't there. Neuroscientist Anil Seth calls perception controlled hallucination. You're not seeing reality. You're seeing your brain's prediction of reality, and those predictions are wrong constantly. Let me show you how deep this goes. Your eyes have a blind spot, a physical gap in your retina where the optic nerve connects. It's about the size of 9 full moons in your visual field. Right now, there's a chunk of the world you literally cannot see. But you don't notice a black hole in your vision, do you? That's because your brain fabricates the missing information. It looks at the surrounding area and says, probably more of the same, and fills it in. You're seeing a photoshopped version of reality every moment of your life, and you don't even know it. MIT researchers discovered something even more disturbing. Your brain doesn't process visual information in real time. There's a lag, about 80 milliseconds, between when light hits your retina and when your brain creates the image you see. That's almost 1/10 of a second. So right now, you're not seeing the present, you're seeing the past. Your brain has to predict where things will be by the time you perceive them. When you catch a ball, you're not reacting to where it is. You're reacting to where your brain predicted it would be. Most of the time, the prediction is close enough. But sometimes it's catastrophically wrong. Here's the darker part. A study from Harvard found that people miss major changes happening right in front of them if they're not expecting them. They call it change blindness. Researchers showed people a video of 2 teams passing basketballs and asked them to count the passes. Halfway through, a person in a gorilla suit walks into the frame, beats their chest, and walks off. 50% of people don't see the gorilla, not because they're not paying attention, because their brain decided it wasn't important and deleted it from their perception. Your brain has decided what you see and what you don't. You're not in control. Your subconscious filters are in control. And that's just the surface. Now let me tell you about the architecture of visual deception. Your eyes don't work like cameras. Cameras capture everything in the frame equally. Your eyes have high-resolution vision only in a tiny area called the fovea, about the size of your thumbnail at arm's length. Everything in your peripheral vision is blurry, low-resolution, basically useless. But you don't experience the world as blurry, do you? That's because your eyes constantly dart around 3 to 4 times per second, called saccades, and your brain stitches together these snapshots into a seamless panorama. The seamlessness is an illusion. You're seeing a patchwork quilt, but your brain convinces you it's smooth fabric. Doctored to 4 times per second. Donald Hoffman, a cognitive scientist at UC Irvine, goes even further. He argues that evolution didn't design your eyes to see truth. It designed them to see what helps you survive. He uses this analogy. Imagine reality is like the desktop on a computer. You see icons, folders, a trash bin. But none of those things are actually inside the computer. They're just visual metaphors that help you interact with the system. Your perception works the same way. Colors don't exist in the physical world. They're labels your brain assigns to different wavelengths of light. Solid objects aren't really solid. They're mostly empty space with atoms vibrating. But your brain shows you solid, colored objects because that interface kept your ancestors alive. Truth was never the goal. Survival was the goal. But here's where it gets truly sinister. Once you understand that perception is constructed, you realize how easy it is to hack. Magicians have known this for centuries. Misdirection isn't about speed, it's about manipulating where your attention goes, because wherever your attention isn't, your brain just fills in assumptions. Pickpockets use the same principle. They touch you in one place, your brain focuses there, and you become blind to what's happening everywhere else. You think you'd notice someone reaching into your pocket, but statistics show professional pickpockets have a 95% success rate. They're not faster than you. They're just better at controlling what you perceive. And corporations have weaponized this on a massive scale. Grocery stores put essential items like milk and bread at the back of the store, forcing you to walk past thousands of products. Your peripheral vision catches them, your brain logs them as seen, and that familiarity increases purchase likelihood by 40%. That's why you buy things you didn't plan to, not because you're impulsive, because your visual system was hijacked. Casinos have no clocks, no windows, and use specific lighting frequencies that distort time perception. Studies show gamblers lose track of time 70% faster in casinos than in normal environments. You think you've been there for an hour, it's been 4. Your eyes betrayed you. Social media platforms use something even more insidious. They've learned the exact shade of red that triggers urgency in your visual cortex. Notification badges, like buttons, error messages, they're all calibrated to hijack your attention at a neurological level. TikTok's algorithm shows you videos at a pace that matches your blink rate, making it feel unnaturally smooth and impossible to look away from. Instagram filters don't just make you look better. They create a visual standard that makes unfiltered reality look wrong. Your brain starts expecting smooth skin, brightened eyes, perfect lighting. Real faces start looking flawed by comparison. You're not seeing people anymore. You're seeing deviation from an artificial standard. And here's the most uncomfortable truth. Deepfakes and AI-generated images are now indistinguishable from reality. In 2024, researchers at MIT showed people a mix of real photos and AI-generated faces. People correctly identified the fakes only 52% of the time. That's worse than guessing. A study published in Nature found that AI-generated faces are now rated as more trustworthy than real human faces because they average out features into what our brains expect to see. You trust the fake more than the real. Your eyes, the thing you've relied on your entire life, can no longer tell the difference between what exists and what was rendered by an algorithm. So why does this matter to you right now? Because every decision you make is based on perception. And if your perception is unreliable, your decisions are unreliable. You judge people based on appearance, but appearance is filtered through unconscious biases your brain applies instantly. Studies show that taller people are perceived as more competent, attractive people as more trustworthy, people who look like you as more reliable. None of that is real. It's your visual system applying evolutionary shortcuts that made sense 100,000 years ago, but create systemic injustice today. You think you're objective, but your eyes are literally prejudiced. Your memories aren't safe either. Every time you remember something, your brain reconstructs it from fragments, and each reconstruction introduces errors. Elizabeth Loftus, a memory researcher, has proven in court that eyewitness testimony is incredibly unreliable. People confidently identify the wrong person 73% of the time in police lineups. They're not lying. They genuinely believe they saw what they're describing. But they didn't. Their brain filled in gaps with expectations, stereotypes, suggestions from leading questions. You can't trust your eyes in the present, and you definitely can't trust them about the past. On a societal level, this creates a post-truth world. When photos can be faked, videos can be fabricated, and our own perception is unreliable, how do you know what's real? Political deepfakes can show leaders saying things they never said. Propaganda images can manufacture events that never happened. And you think you'll be able to spot the fakes, but you won't. Your visual system evolved to trust what it sees because in the ancestral environment, if you saw a lion, it was a real lion. Your brain has no defense against images that look real but aren't. We're entering an era where seeing is believing becomes seeing is meaningless. Here's how you take back some control today. First, practice conscious seeing. Once per day, stop whatever you're doing and actually look at something for 60 seconds straight. Not glancing, not scanning, actually looking. A tree, a face, your own hand. You'll notice your mind wandering, getting bored, wanting to move on. That's your brain's autopilot trying to regain control. Resist it. Force your visual system into manual mode. After 30 seconds, you'll start noticing details you've never seen before. Textures, colors, asymmetries. You're not seeing new things. You're seeing things that were always there, but your brain was hiding. Do this daily, and you'll realize how much you've been missing. How much your brain has been editing out without permission. Second, actively seek disconfirming evidence. Your brain shows you what confirms your existing beliefs and hides contradictions. It's called confirmation bias, and it operates at the visual level. If you believe someone is untrustworthy, you'll literally see micro-expressions that confirm that belief, even if they're not there. Researchers at Princeton found that people shown identical faces rate them differently based on labels. Same face labeled doctor, trustworthy. Same face labeled criminal, threatening. So when you form a judgment based on what you see, force yourself to ask, what am I not seeing? What is my brain hiding from me? Look for evidence that contradicts your first impression. Most of the time you'll find it, but only if you look. Third, reduce visual overload. Every image you see, every video, every screen, they're all training your visual system. The average person sees 5,000 ads per day. That's 5,000 carefully designed images meant to manipulate your perception. Your brain can't filter that volume. It absorbs it, learns from it, starts expecting it. If you see filtered faces all day, real faces look wrong. If you see curated perfection all day, your life looks inadequate. Set strict limits. 1 hour of screen time for entertainment, maximum. No phones during meals, no scrolling before bed. Let your visual system reset to reality instead of constantly recalibrating to artificial stimuli. I tested this last year. For 1 month, I wore a blindfold for 1 hour every day. Just sitting in darkness, relying on other senses. First week was terrifying. My brain panicked without visual input. But by week 2, my hearing sharpened. I noticed sounds I'd been deaf to for years. My sense of touch became more detailed. And when I took the blindfold off, the world looked different. Brighter, more textured, more real. I realized how much I'd been seeing on autopilot, how much my brain had been filling in without actually looking. That month taught me that my eyes were the least reliable sense I had, and I'd been trusting them completely. But here's the final twist you need to understand. Right now, you're not even seeing this text the way you think you are. Your brain is predicting the words before your eyes fully process them. Speed readers exploit this by training their brains to predict even more aggressively, skipping entire sections and filling in meaning. You're doing a slower version of that right now, which means you might be missing words, misreading sentences, understanding something completely different from what's actually written. And you'll never know, because your brain presents its interpretation as objective reality. So, does that mean nothing is real? Does it mean you should trust nothing you see? Not exactly. It means you should understand that vision is interpretation, not documentation. Your eyes are storytellers, not cameras. And every story has biases, gaps, fabrications. The people who control visual media know this. Advertisers, politicians, algorithms. They're all competing to write the story your brain tells you about reality. Most people let them win without a fight because they don't even realize there's a battle happening. You can't fix your eyes. They'll always have blind spots, delays, biases. But you can fix your awareness. You can catch yourself making assumptions. You can question first impressions. You can demand evidence beyond what looks obvious. The moment you realize your eyes have been lying to you, your entire life is the moment you stop being their prisoner. It's uncomfortable. It's destabilizing. Because if you can't trust your eyes, what can you trust? But that discomfort is the price of seeing clearly. So here's your choice. You can go back to trusting your eyes completely, living in the comfortable illusion that what you see is what's real. Or you can accept that perception is constructed, that your brain is constantly lying to you, and that the only way to get closer to truth is to question everything, especially what seems obvious. Most people choose comfort. But you're still here, which means you're not most people. Right now, look at something in your environment and ask yourself, what am I not seeing? Don't watch another video, don't scroll, just look and question. Share this with one person who trusts their eyes too much. And if you want content that challenges perception instead of confirming it, subscribe, but only if you're ready to never see the world the same way again. 10 minutes ago, you trusted your eyes. Now, you know better. Reality was never what it looked like.